Hi, this is Brian Morse with Advanced CAD Technology. Today I'm going to show you how to make a customized toolbar in BricsCAD. You can start off by, let's just say you haven't made any customizations, so we're going to talk about how to create a partial CUI file to integrate in with the modern CUI file. And so here's the major grouping of the steps that we're going to go through. And let's just take a look at how we go through that now. So we start off by typing CUI on the command line. That opens up the Customize dialog box. And then we go to Create New Partial CUI File. You'll notice we start off with the modern CUI. That's what's loaded as the main CUI file. And that's in the support folder. We're going to give this new CUI file a name, a unique name, stored in the support folder. So you'll notice the modern CUI file is still the one that's currently loaded. Now open the new CUI file. Then we'll add a new workspace to that by clicking on the Add New button. Next, we'll add a toolbar. On the left side, right-click on your new CUI file. The shortcut menu will open up and then choose Append Toolbar. The Add Toolbar dialog box opens up and you just type in a name for the new toolbar. Okay, let's just catch up on our little punch list here and see how far we've come. So you're going to create a partial CUI file, and that involves just typing in the CUI command on the command line. And then you create a new partial CUI file, and that is just a click on the File pull-down menu, Create New Partial CUI File. And the modern CUI file is what we've been displaying all along. That was what is installed by default. And so that has all of your tools in there. And what we're doing is we're creating a separate CUI file so we can keep our customizations separate from everything else that's been installed as default program features. So the modern CUI file is what we'll restore after we've done our customization, and then the partial CUI file that we create is going to be integrated into the display after that. So you'll notice that the path name is this support folder. So it's in your user profile and the roaming profile, and drill down into the support folder. And what you're going to do, which is going to be a good practice, I think, is to keep your customizations backed up in a separate location. So that way, if you migrate to a new version of BricsCAD, you'll have all of your customizations available to restore that to your display and keep on working with your customized interface. So inside of my support folder that I use the name support in my backup location just so I can make that one-to-one correlation between the path name that is installed by the program and then the folder name that I'm going to use to back up content that you would normally find in that support folder. So another thing that I do is I also put a little shortcut to this folder here in my backup location so that I can easily go back and forth in File Explorer to get access to the customized content that I've built in the default location and then copy it to this backup location. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to open up the partial CUI file that we've created, and then so you can see I've outlined the steps here so that you can follow along if you want to go at a little bit slower pace. I've got the pics on the user interface here. And so you can open up this mind map and see the process documented like we're viewing it here. So your CUI file is going to appear actually on both sides of the Customize dialog box. We're going to use the one on the left to append a toolbar. So the next step is we right-click on that CUI, and then we choose Append Toolbar. And so there's the Append Toolbar shortcut menu that you see there. And we'll just give it a name. I'll just call it Dim 2. And so there's a separate dialog box that opens up to add that toolbar name. And once that toolbar name is created, that appears underneath your CUI file on the left. And now the next thing that we're going to do is not so intuitive, is we have to put that toolbar inside of a toolbox, but the toolbox hasn't been created yet. So this is a new concept where you have to go to the right hand side, use the shortcut menu there, and choose Append Toolbox, and then go down and give that toolbox a name. And I'm just going to call it Labels. And then once that's created, then we'll be able to continue by adding a new tool to our toolbar. But without that toolbox created first, you won't be able to use that append tool command to add any content to your toolbar, which is not that intuitive, so we have to just follow along with this step by step, and that's why I've documented it in such detail. So back in the Customize dialog box, on the right side, we right-click on our CUI, and then we do Append Toolbox. Give it a name. I'll just call it Labels. And then we go on the left-hand side, right-click on our partial CUI file, and then we'll add a tool or append tool. Then you get this dialog box, the Add tool. Okay, let's go back to our step-by-step description, and let's just walk through this step because it's got a lot of detail to it. So we left off where we identified the name of the toolbox, and then we go back on the left-hand side, right-click, and we're going to choose Append Tool. Okay, so you right-click on the actual toolbar name that we had given, and that opens up the shortcut menu, and we choose Append Tool. So what that does is that has the Add Tool dialog box that shows up, and you're going to click on the radio button to create a new tool. And the example I'm going to use is just a way to label the area of a polyline, a closed polyline in square feet. So that's what we're aiming for. And so we're going to fill in the title of the tool, maybe a little help string in there that gives you some advice as to how to use the tool. Then the actual command sequence that happens in there, and then we'll choose an image on that afterwards. So let's take a look at the details of how that's going to happen. In the Add Tool dialog box, then you'll see we've got the title, and I just typed in the area in square feet, or SF, and then I typed in use the text style with a 0 height. So in this case here, the syntax of the command is actually just a macro. It's stringing several commands together, and this makes the assumption that the current text style has a 0 height to that, so that as we go through this command sequence, we actually have to specify the height of the text that we're going to use. And the text style that we're going to set current is actually annotative, so we're going to use the height in plotted inches rather than in model space feet height on that. So you can see that I've just documented the title, the help, the command, and so this is kind of tricky syntax. If you just want to copy this word for word and paste it in there, later on I'll explain what's going on with each step of the way, but that's the syntax of my macro so far. And then what you can do is you can choose an image that already exists, one that's been applied to a toolbar that already exists in the default program, and we're just going to borrow that image to display in our toolbar command. So as we scroll down through the list here, then you'll see that we focus on the image name is called area, and that doesn't appear until after you actually pick on that little browse button. You find the tool image. You have to just scroll down through the list and then find area. There's thousands of them there, so it'll take you a while to scroll through that and find the right one. But once that's done, then you've actually created the tool and it's added to your toolbar. So back at the Customize dialog box, then once you close the Add Tool dialog box, you'll see that the tool name now appears in the hierarchy underneath your customization file, then the toolbar name, and then the tool itself. And when you highlight the tool itself, then you see the details below here. So that's kind of nice to have that level of detail available so that you can inspect how things are put together, especially if you got to refresh your memory on that. And also the available tools appears on the right hand side here. Getting back to our example, we're in the Add Tool dialog box. We'll type in the title, then the help string, the command will fill that out as well. Typing as fast as I can. And the macro I had just copied to my clipboard from somewhere else where I have a library of command syntax that I put together. So I'll just paste that in here. I'll have to edit the height of the text. It's lengthy, so I show you the full instance of that. I change that from a height of 2 model space units, and we're just going to put in the 0.08 as the plotted inches height for that. So then we'll just browse to get an image file. So you click on that little browse button and you scroll down through the list. You find the area image file. Select that, you click OK, and that completes that. You click OK again, and then you'll see the tool that shows up in the Customize area. Now we're going to save that partial CUI file. So you just click on the Save button, and it's in that support folder, nothing's changed, and we're going to replace that because we've made some changes to that. So once you dismiss the Customize dialog box, you'll notice that there's no ribbon. The user interface is pretty bare, and that's just because our main customization file has been set to our partial CUI. So we type in CUI to get back to our Customize dialog box, and then we'll click on that Browse button to go browse for the modern CUI and get that loaded back up again. So you hit the Browse button, you're still in that support folder, you find the modern CUI, and once you get back into the interface, then your ribbon shows up again. Take a look at the bottom right. You'll notice I want to set my civil survey workspace back again because it was set to drafting. Type CUI so we can load our partial CUI. And so you'll notice you click on the File pull-down menu, and you'll be able to choose Load Partial CUI File. So we browse to that and open it. Notice on the left-hand side, down towards the bottom, you have the CUI, the partial CUI, the toolbar, and the tool, all displays on the bottom of the left-hand side. So I want to load the civil survey. Right now it's set to drafting, and I want to see the civil survey workspace. Okay, let's pick up where we left off in the sequence. We had added a tool, and then we saved your partial CUI file. And you're going to use the save main CUI file because our partial CUI file was loaded as the main CUI file in order to make the edits. So then when we do the save, then we choose the same name and just overwrite what's already there. The ribbon is missing, and that's just because your main CUI file is still set to the customize the partial CUI file. And so we need to go back into the customize dialog box in order to reload that modern CUI that was the original default when we started that process. So then going back to display the new toolbar, first we restore the modern CUI, then the ribbon reappears. We set our workspace down in the bottom right to civil survey because that's the one that we want to work in with that particular toolbar that we want to have loaded. While the main CUI is set to modern CUI, we're going to load our customized CUI as a partial CUI. And that's the whole reason we've been referring to it as a partial CUI, is because it just contains the content that we've customized and nothing else. But we still want to use the entire content of the program, so we need to restore the display back to the default modern CUI. But under that same Customize dialog box, you'll click on the File pull-down menu and you'll choose Load Partial CUI. You'll browse to that, and once that loads, then you'll see that it appears at the bottom of the list on the left-hand side. And then the next step is you want to display that custom toolbar. So the way that works is I've got the steps numbered here. So basically, once you've got that civil survey workspace loaded, then you're going to right-click in an empty area of the ribbon and then do some hovering. You'll hover over toolbars, and then you'll see the toolbars are grouped together based on the CUI file that contains their definition. Okay, so BricsCAD, that's the full boat. Then the one that I had started customizing previously, we're going to ignore that. The one that we're currently working on is I've just replicated the first one as a test that I was doing, and so just to document this. So you hover over the Brian 2 that represents the partial CUI file that we just loaded, and there's only one toolbar in there, the dim 2 toolbar. So 1, 2, 3, there you go. Then you'll see that the toolbar will display somewhere on the left-hand side, probably on top of your ribbon. It's typically going to be just floating somewhere in your user interface, but it'll look different. So you'll see that the title bar appears there, and since there's only one command on there, the title bar is not expand it out far enough where you can see the entire name of the toolbar, but that would be the dim2 toolbar. And there's that one command on there, and you'll see the icon that represents that tool is the area image file that we had associated with that customized tool. So now you can right click on the ribbon, hover over toolbars, hover over Brian 2, and then choose the dim, and then you'll see the toolbar show up somewhere on the user interface. You hold down your control key to just drag that around and keep it floating. And now what we're going to do is we're going to test that tool. So I'll go into model space, and you see I've got some boundary lines here that define an enclosed area. So we start the command. You get a prompt to pick internal point, and then pick the middle point of the text. Then the label appears. That's the area in square feet of that polyline. And you just hit escape to stop the command from repeating. Now the polyline that was created on the current layer, so you can simply just grip that and delete it so that you don't have some extra geometry in the drawing. So once you've completed testing that tool, let me just explain to you how that all fits together. So let's go back up to that tool actually explained. So you're starting the boundary command, and then you respond to the prompts for the boundary command to pick the internal point. That will produce, and you're running the command line version of that boundary command, so that way there's no dialog boxes involved. So the area command runs immediately after that, and the area command is just simply there to populate the area system variable with that value. So it's just remembering the last value of the area command, and that gives you something that you can recall later in a text string. So after the area command is run, and that's simply just to list the area and keep it stored in memory, then it'll run the text command. And so the text command is going to choose the middle. That's the insertion point of the text. Also, and the backslash is just to stop, to prompt you to specify that point where the middle of the text is going to go. Then it automatically feeds the text height, so 0.08 in plotted inches, and then a 0 rotation. So, and then on the command line, if you're running the command line version of the text command, then no dialog boxes appear, and so you're going to just feed the command line with the content that's supposed to display inside that text string. And so that's what the rest of this content does here, is just simply to get the area in the drawing units, so we're not converting it to anything like acres. And this also specifies the precision of the output, and then it also appends the hard-coded designator of SF for square feet. So once that's all done, then the semicolon at the end just finishes off the text command, and that's where the macro ends. Now the little asterisk at the beginning of this just allows you to repeat the command over and over again. And so that's why you had the continuation of the prompts, and you had to hit escape in order to break that loop. So that's just a good introduction to how you can string several commands together in what's known as a macro. And hopefully you've learned enough to come up with your own customized toolbars and tools that you can add to that in a unique way, just to automate workflows. So thank you very much.